Hey guys, welcome to another video of mine. It's M.Dembele, and this is a Chelsea talking point video, and this video does regard Chelsea strikers. And of course, we were in a bit of a Chelsea striking crisis against West Ham. Of course, Tammy Abraham was injured, and we had to either use Giroud or Batshuayi, and we saw the drop in quality and level when Tammy Abraham was injured. And it kind of emphasised why it's a key area, in my opinion, we have to strengthen in the summer transfer window or in the transfer window if possible. We're going to be getting to three strikers, three talking points, talk about what type of player they are, if they suit Chelsea, my preferred striker, and the statistics and how well they have done this season. But before I do get into it, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to my channel if you are not here. Make sure that my notifications are provided for every time I do upload, and comment down with your thoughts and opinions on which striker you would want Chelsea to sign. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, starting off with my preferred striker, my favourite striker out of all of them, and that is of course L.Martinez. Now, the reason why L.Martinez is my favourite out of the three that I'll be talking about is because his playstyle, how it would suit Chelsea, and I wanted this man for quite a while now. There haven't been any reports linking Chelsea with L.Martinez. So I confirmed to my source, we at the moment, as I make this video, we're not interested in. There's not been any reports. We've not been interested. He signed a new contract last year. He is a striker that's on the rise, an up-and-coming striker that has world-class potential and will be monitored and scouted by elite clubs around Europe. 22 years of age, L.Martinez, Argentinian forward, who made his move to Inter Milan, and he's been on fire. He's been exceptional, elite, and this season he's been on another level. Last season was an adaptation year, of course, being 22 years of age, you know, very, very young, adapting, but this season he's been elite. 14 games in the Serie A, 8 goals and 1 assist, of course 9 goals and assists in 14 games Serie A, and in the Champions League, near the top goal scorer, 5 Champions League games, 5 Champions League goals, outstanding record in the Champions League. And of course, a lot of people say Serie A is not the highest level, but Champions League he scored 5 goals in 5 games. That is the most elite European competition, playing against one of the best teams in the world. So for me, outstanding record. But it's not just his output, it's his style of play. You know, of course, he is not that tall. He is only 1.74 meters, which is around 5'9", 5'10". So he isn't very tall, especially in the Premier League. If you're not a tall striker, you could struggle. But his technical ability is so key. You know, he's got so much technical ability. Like the way he drifts in and out, he'd be a fantastic false nine. You know, and the main position he plays in is off the shoulder of the striker. He'd work, you know, fantastically well next to a Giroud or, you know, a target man, because of course, you know, he plays off the shoulder of the striker. He's not your out and out goal scorer. He's very similar to, you know, a Griezmann. You know, he's not your out and out number 9. However, the way he drifts in the spaces, the way he drifts in behind off the shoulder, the way he operates in between those lines and the half spaces, and he's so quick and agile. Like, that's the main thing. He's so technical. His technical ability is through the roof. You know, some of the things he does, he's got techers, you know, his finishing's elite as well, world-class finishing. And you've seen it, he's so composed as well, and composure is very, very key, especially for a young man. Like I said, he's got elite finishing, world-class finishing abilities, the way he introduces people, links up the play. For me, he'd be a top signing. If we got him, I'll be gassed. I'm not going to lie. He is my first choice striker. I'd love L.Martinez at Inter Milan. Now, of course, there has been criticisms. The main criticism of him is he's never scored more than 15 goals in a season. Now, of course, there are a lot of things to counter. Number one, he's only 22, so he's just recently turned 22. So, of course, that is something that can be improved on. A lot of people think he's another Morata because, of course, Morata as well never scored over 15 goals. But they're technically completely different players. Morata is not as technically gifted as L.Martinez, and they're completely different type of player. L.Martinez has got world-class potential. His technical ability is so good, hence why he can improve on that. His finishing is elite, something Morata never had. Morata always bottled one-on-one chances. His passing, his link-up play is elite as well. The guy is a top striker. Now, of course, there is one stumbling block with this, and of course the price. Now, we know Antonio Conte is the Inter Milan manager. There is a bit of bad blood between the board, Chelsea board, and Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte is currently taking Chelsea to High Court right now. So, you know, the tension is there. However, L.Martinez has a reported release clause of 111 million euros. Of course, that is a staggering amount for a guy who hasn't completely proven himself. This is his first breakout season. Essentially, if we did buy him, we'd be paying for his potential, for what he could become, like kind of what we did for Kepa, essentially. Like I said, with L.Martinez, 111 million euro release clause, which comes around 100 million pounds. So, of course, we do have the funds to put it off. We've got a lot of funds, Hazard sale, Morata sale, and of course other sales as well. But for me, I'm all for it. I would love L.Martinez. The way he linked with that front three would be like a Firmino style. The way he would link with a front three, likes of Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, Sancho, if we sign him. Honestly, a world-class player, and he's got a big future. If we don't sign him now, in a couple of years' time, he'll end up at a club like Barcelona and Real Madrid killing it. Trust me, this guy is going right to the top of the elite forwards, and yeah, I love him at Chelsea. Leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. Would you take Lautaro Martinez at Chelsea? This is the reason why Chelsea must sign Lautaro Martinez. But getting into the second striker, and of course I have mentioned him a few times, and that is Timo Werner, of course, who plays for RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga. And again, another man that's been on fire. 13 goals in 13 games in Bundesliga, 2 goals out of 5 Champions League games. Of course, Champions League is not as good as Lautaro Martinez. Tall striker, 6 foot as well, so height would be good, and his pace. A lot of people call him the pace merchant because, of course, his game heavily relies on his pace. Now, I made a thread on Twitter. If you don't follow him on Twitter, go and follow him on Twitter. Kamal_AA_. Basically, I made a thread on Twitter regarding why Timo Werner wouldn't succeed at Chelsea, and of course, I'm going to give my reasoning for that. There may be some of you that disagree, and that's what this is for, the platform for, to interact and disagree and agree, my thoughts and opinions. But the reason why I believe that he wouldn't make out Chelsea is because he's not as technically gifted as Lautaro Martinez, and also he relies heavily on his pace. He'd be fantastic in a counter-attacking system. So I mean your Liverpools, your Manchester Uniteds, he'd thrive in these teams because they're counter-attacking teams, and of course when you're counter-attacking, the defence and opponents, they leave so much gaps and spaces in between their lines and in the defence, hence why Timo Werner is perfect for exploiting these spaces with his pace, his agility, and why he's very, very good because, you know, he has loads of space to roam around, very similar to Nicola Pepe. You know, they operate in space, you know, they need to utilise that space, and because of his pace, he relies heavily on his pace, that's his game. He's a counter-attacking player that can, you know, on the opponents, when they counter-attack, exploit the opponent's space and basically thrive on that. And with Chelsea, because we're a more possession style team, such as like a Man City, where we progress the ball, kick quickly, one touch, two touch passing, operating the ball, press resistant, moving the ball quickly through the lines, of course that means that other teams' opponents will be playing in a low to mid block tactic, so there won't be much space for Timo Werner to operate. So of course this is where you rely on your technical ability and your world class finishing. And the issue I have with Timo Werner is he misses a lot of chances. This is very evident with the German national team. He misses quite a lot of chances, and hence why I don't believe he'd thrive in Chelsea team. However, again, same argument with Lautaro Martinez. He's only 23 years of age, so of course he can improve this. And of course, I want to be against the signing of Timo Werner. I think that he can improve. There is a lot of benefits that he'd bring to the Chelsea team. And I think he'd be a good striker. But that's my thoughts and opinions. Leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Would you take Timo Werner at Chelsea? Is he your first choice or not? Again, leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. But getting into the final striker, and that is M.Dembele from Lyon. And of course, this is the first striker that we've been linked with. And again, the tallest out of the three, 1.83 metres. So again, he's already got Premier League experience. Of course, he was at Fulham, was quality at Celtic as well. Watched him quite a few times at Celtic. 23 years of age again. Common theme with all three of these strikers is they're all very, very young. And this season so far in League One, 14 games, 10 goals. Champions League 5 games, and unfortunately he hasn't scored yet, which is an issue. League One isn't the most competitive league, as we know. Of course, one of the top players do come out of the League One. However, the fact that he hasn't scored in Champions League is quite alarming, is quite frustrating. But he would be the cheapest. He'd be by far the cheapest out of the three. But I believe a man that would suit our system. I wouldn't be against the signing. Very quick, very agile, very, very good at finishing as well. Clinical finisher. Links up the play, agile, quick. Gets in behind the lines as well, so can through balls, links up the play really well. And again, he's young, so he can improve on his attributes, and I like his attributes a lot, and it definitely suits a Lampard style system. But for me, I wouldn't mind M.Dembele, but he would be my third choice. I would prefer a Lautaro Martinez or a Timo Werner over the likes of a M.Dembele. Of course, that is just my thoughts and opinions. I want to hear what you guys think as well. Leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Would you take M.Dembele, or would you prefer, like I said, a Timo Werner or a Lautaro Martinez, etc., etc.? But yeah, going to wrap up the video there, guys. Going to wrap up the talking point video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel if you are new here. Make sure to hit the notification button for every time I do upload. And which striker would you take at Chelsea and why? Give me a reasoning. Lautaro Martinez, Timo Werner, or M.Dembele. Comment down below which one you'd prefer and why. I want to hear what you guys think. I've given you guys my thoughts and opinions on who I'd prefer, and I've been going through the stats and how those suit our system. Of course, my choices goes Lautaro Martinez, Timo Werner, and M.Dembele. Leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. And also, good news regarding Cass. It looks like a decision will be imminent soon, within the next few days. So, it's looking good. That's all I'm going to say. It's looking good. So, I'm going to wrap up the video there, guys. I'll see you guys for my next video. Peace.